Hi, this is Andreas from anythingbutipod.com. Here I have a Philips Vibe MP3 player. It's one of their medium-sized players. It's a bit bigger than the Spark, and yet it's a tad bit smaller than the Aria. So you can see it's quite a small player. It has a 1.5 inch LCD display. It's thicker than most players, so compared to something like the Sony E340 or the Sansa Fuse, it's not that much smaller when speaking in volume, just the front-facing area. It has a mini USB port on the bottom, as well as a lanyard attachment hole, 3.5mm headphone port and a microphone, reset button and on-off plus hold switch on the side, and option button and volume buttons on the other side. On the front you have a 4-way D-pad. You can see the dent in the middle here. This is actually not a button as I first thought it was. This is just some, I don't know what it is. It's a bit annoying to use a D-pad that's only 4-way, because I'm used to having the middle button as the select button, so but you get used to it. The Vibe actually uses this one, the right button, as the select button, and this one as the backward button instead, so it works, but it's a bit useless. I know they have a player that's similar to the Vibe that's sold in Europe that has the normal D-pad. I think that's 5 ways. Let me just turn it on. Some advertising there on the startup. As you can see, the player uses the album art as the wallpaper, just as the Spark did. You can also set various screensaver options, such as on the Spark, including album art, but it doesn't look, well, I have the clock on now, as you can see. It doesn't look as well as on the Spark, because the Spark has an OLED screen and this one has just an LCD screen, so it doesn't have the same colors and much worse viewing angle. So let me see if you can get the Spark on to show us comparison. I think it's out of battery actually. Okay. Anyways, we have the main menu: music, videos, pictures, FM radio, recordings, folder view, settings, and no playing. You can take the videos first because that's the most useless feature on this player. The screen is only 1.5 inch and 128 by 128 pixels resolution. So if you can look at the... Okay, didn't want to do that. There we go. It's kinda like watching a stamp, an animated stamp or something like that. It's not a resolution you want to watch video in. You can see this is also cropped or something. This video came with the player. It's cropped to fit the screen ratio, because no videos has a 1:1 screen ratio. At best you get a 4:3 ratio, but most videos these days are 16:9, so that means you have 128 by 73 pixels, I think is the 16:9 ratio. Compared to something like an Artros 5, it has 800 by 480, that's 2.56%. So bottom line, you don't want to use this for watching videos. And same goes for pictures, some more pictures that was included on the player. I mean, you can use it for some quick shots, but there's the 128 by 128 resolution equals something like 10,000 pixels altogether, so we're not talking megapixels here. FM radio, it has an okay FM radio. Nothing to write home about. You have presets, you have manual scan, just normal stuff. No recording. It's supposed to be an RDS radio, which means it displays the name of the station, but that doesn't seem to work over here in Norway. or it's been removed, I'm not quite sure. Recording, same thing, kind of useless feature. You can record using the microphone on the bottom. It records to MP3 at I think it was 16 or 32 kilobit per second. I don't remember, it's in my review. 8 kilohertz, so it will sound like something that comes out of the bottom of people, and not something you want to use either. Folder view is placed on the main menu because it shows any file, or any file type, not just music or supported file formats. You can't play a playlist from the folder browsing menu, but you can play video and of course music and Audible. So it's nice to see that some manufacturers do include both folder browsing and ID3 tag browsing. As you can see here, we have artist, album, playlist, audiobooks. Audiobooks is just for Audible. There's no you can't put your own audiobooks on there and get them in that menu. For settings, we have some pretty standard. Sleep timer is nice, but you have to access this from this menu, so we can't access it from the no playing screen itself. As you can see, the button is hard to press. Okay, I can't access anything from the audiobook menu apparently. There we go. Here you can see you have no settings for sleep mode on here, so you have to go all the way back to the menu, down to settings, and find the sleep timer. We also have some display settings. The Spark was very nice in that it had several customizable options for how the player would look, such as screensaver, startup picture, shutdown picture, and so on. This one doesn't have it. It has only a theme which you can choose from. Rather, this is actually more pink or purple than red, but anyways. Or light, which is basically yellow. Not exactly the most pretty menus I've seen, in my opinion, but your mileage might vary. Dark isn't actually dark either, it's more grey. And you have some very basic settings. You can also set if you want to use MTP or MSC mode for connecting to a PC, which is very nice. Most players these days use either only MTP or the player selects automatically, so you can't choose between them. So, but all in all, this isn't the best player out there, simply because it has a very nice size to it. It has some nice features, but at the price, which is I think $50 for 4GB and $60 for 8GB, you might as well get something like the Sansa Fuse or Sansa Clip or Sony E340. They are about the same price, and you get a much better screen and better menus. And speaking in volume, you can see, as I said, the player isn't that much smaller when you take the thicker or the thickness into account. So it's a nice try, Philips, but if you want to sell a player this size, you have to put some more effort into it. You can read the full review over at anythingbutiPod.com.